I will say, every once in a while, if I get someone who I'm playing with and they just go full on like I'm an actual sergeant type thing, you're like, all right, let's see where this goes, you know?
Yeah.
But it's you got some. I mean, Squad is unfortunately one of those games where there is a command structure, and I think that's a great thing. But what can tend to happen is that command structure goes to your head.
Yeah.
If you're the type of person to maybe really embellish that, so you have some times where it's like I'm the commander and I'm gonna tell you, like, dude, I've had someone like it was kind of the same thing. You've had a long day. We had some, maybe like he was probably like 18, 19 or something.
Yeah.
Tell Squad 2 to go do something. He's like, dude, I've just been at work for 8 hours. Just put my kids down. I'm gonna go build this fiver. You can shut the hell up. That type of stuff.
Welcome to Tarducks, a podcast for content creators to come share their experiences, stories, and share their advice. And today I am super excited to have MoiDawg. Welcome.
Hi, yeah, thanks for having me. We were just talking earlier, but man, we've been trying to connect it feels like all summer now.
Yeah.
Life gets real.
Yeah, and then summer flies by, and like, here we go. Kids are going to school this week, for my kids anyway, so it's wild. So welcome to the podcast. What we normally do to kick things off is we do 3 random questions to get the juices flowing. So are you ready?
Sure. Yeah. Hit me.
All right. Okay, so let's start off. What was the last movie you saw?
Oh, last movie? Oh man. I actually don't even know the last movie.
Probably a kid's movie.
No, it is probably a kid's movie. Yeah. So Cars 2. Last is Cars 2. Yeah.
There we go. All right. You're going out to your favorite place to eat, just you and your wife. What are you ordering?
My wife would say I order the most expensive thing on the menu, which would be a steak.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would probably a steak and sushi. She's really into the sushi. I'd prefer kind of a heartier thing.
All right. So now you can go on a 2-week vacation anywhere in the world. Where are you going?
If we're divesting me from my wife, I would probably go to Alaska cabin just by myself.
Nice. Yeah. All right. All right. So let's get rolling there. So who is MoiDawg? What is your background? What did you do before you started into this streaming and content creating, field?
So actually, I got a degree in Chinese and minor in Russian, and I completely different. And then I took that and got a master's in business. I actually went to China and got a master's there. And I did consulting. I did urban development consulting actually. And then came over here, or I guess back to the States. Did some more traveling consulting and was just consulting, and I started stream one day. I eventually upgraded to like a gaming laptop so I could stream on the road. And a few years later, here we are.
Oh, wow.
Completely different I always joke. It's like, kids, you too can spend years of schooling, like thousands of dollars, and just play video games.
Yeah. Wow. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Holy cow. So now where did you grow up?
Kind of all over the world. Yeah. I say I kind of grew up in Texas. A lot of people know, I say y'all. I don't have the thickest of accent. People actually think I'm Canadian because I have a pretty like international American accent, I guess, or English. But went to school in Indiana. IU. So I'm a Hoosier. I'm cursed with horrible sports teams. And just I've been just traveling a lot, especially with consulting on the road. So it's it's kind of a mixed bag of history, I guess.
And looking back at all the places you've been, what was probably the coolest place you've lived?
Singapore. Yeah, Singapore. So I graduated high school in Singapore, and I love it there.
Yeah.
Awesome place. Culture's great.
Yeah.
It's kind of, my mom always joked that it was kind of, if you're not too sure about living in Asia, especially a lot of cultures, if you don't know the language, it can be kind of intimidating. But Singapore used to be a British colony, so it's kind of like a stepping stone into Asia for a lot of people. If they, it's kind of their first destination. So awesome place.
Ah, cool. Yeah, I watched that show Tokyo Vice on HBO, and it's too cramped. There's no way I could live over there. No, I need space.
Yeah, well, in Shanghai, when I lived in Shanghai, we were in a compound that had 300 buildings in our own little apartment complex, and
Yeah.
we were on the 100th floor
Oh my
of
God.
ours. So you just had just so like we had 15,000 people within our little neighborhood. So
Holy crap.
it's insane. Yeah.
Wow. That's wild. All right. So when did video games start for you?
Uh, when did it first start? Well, I guess I remember my dad first. My mom got my dad the old school Game Boy. He got
Yeah.
the old Top Gun. It was the blocky one,
Yeah.
you know. So little did my mom and dad realize that they actually got that for me because I took it quite a lot. But I actually grew up I lived in Japan for a couple years when
Yeah.
Pokemon came out.
Oh, wow.
So I was actually in Japan when they had all the like the Pikachu doing the electric and causing seizures type
Yeah.
like crazy Pokemon. So got hooked into that, and then I've just been kind of gaming ever since World of
Yeah.
Warcraft, or I guess Warcraft 2 into World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
The OG Call of Duty. I got some stuff on the back here.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've been gaming since forever.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, the arcades over there are like a totally next level in
Oh, it's
over in Japan.
crazy.
Yeah. That is, yeah. Oh man. So now over the years, what games have stuck out that you would rank, your all-time favorites?
All-time favorites, the original Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemon. I got Red. My brother had Blue.
Yeah.
Pokemon Red. I think, especially back then, where you didn't have the internet. I guess everywhere more prevalent.
Yeah.
It was really like an adventure. Like you and your buddies, your group of friends, you kind of figured out Pokemon by yourself,
Yeah.
which was kind of cool. And then there wasn't any real meta type stuff. You weren't. I mean, you were obviously tryharding, but it wasn't like data mining and doing all that
Yeah.
type of stuff. So the OG Pokemon, I was a big fan of Battlefield 1942.
Yeah.
I did a lot of big community battles where you can kind of sign up to be in like the Air Force or the tanks or whatever. Big community stuff. And then the original Call of Duty was kind of like my big first person shoot. Battlefield was as well, but that was more of like a battlefield,
Right.
obviously. But the original Call of Duty, and then the last one that kind of fit in was Warcraft 2 BattleNet Edition.
Yeah.
For the first RTS into multiplayer. So
Okay.
kind of a wide variety there.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with that. So now, which came first, I guess, Twitch or creating content for YouTube?
We always joke that I'm always the YouTuber, never the streamer. Because
Yeah.
people would always there's like, oh, you're that YouTuber guy? I actually started streaming first.
Yeah.
And before I got into Squad, whereas kind of I took off, is I was doing a Battlefield 1 and then
Yeah.
Battlefield 5. I started streaming right when Battlefield 5 kind of came
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
And that Twitch, I guess, platform made me confident and like, okay, some people like, they always ask me tips. Maybe I can try YouTube.
Yeah.
And then after a few months, with kind of just whatever gaming videos, a tutorial or two, and I think a V13 or I don't know, there's some Squad update video that I think kind of took off. And,
Yeah.
then ever since then, if you actually look on numbers wise, I think YouTube subscriber base has been higher than Twitch follower base, but up until recently, I've always considered myself a streamer more than a YouTuber.
Yeah.
But when you're in this, you kind of just have to, you're a content creator.
Right.
If you shut a door on one, it's probably not a good thing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's what a lot of people who I've had on the pod talk about is they're always starting out streaming on Twitch, and they always say, oh, I wish I should have done YouTube sooner, but you've got both covered, and that's a win right there.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I'm as we're recording this, I don't know when this will go, but I am like 1,500 away from 100K on YouTube, which is, I've never even thought that would be possible.
Yeah.
I remember during my streams asking my viewers, and I was like a 10 viewer Andy, which I thought was a big thing.
Yeah.
That's like, oh yeah, I got 10 viewers. But I was asking, please subscribe to my YouTube. If I get 100 YouTube subs, and I can have a custom name, youtube.com/MoiDawg.
Right.
And now we're 100K, where I'm like, there's a play button soon.
Right.
So it's crazy. I almost don't believe it some days.
So now, what made you go live first of all on Twitch? What was that like? Hey,
Well, I was bored.
Yeah.
Super bored. Yeah. I actually wanted to do it back in college.
Yeah.
And I think not doing it made me a better content creator because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like you kind of have to grow and figure out what you want to do in
Yeah.
life. One,
Oh yeah.
and it took me a while to figure that out. But I was just kind of bored because my wife had a typical job where she would go to work,
Yeah.
and I had consulting, so I
Right.
would have big bursts of like I could make almost an entire like my whole annual salary probably within a couple months sometimes. And
Yeah.
that's just because, you would get scheduled within maybe 3-4 months
Right.
and you don't do anything for that's
Yeah.
just how it works. And those months are super tough, but you kind of get to relax later. So I was just super bored. My wife actually said, like, don't stream. I think it's dumb or you're wasting your
Yeah.
time or whatever. And within the first couple days where I was like, hey, I'm getting some people hanging out, and then I one day I told her like this guy, I didn't do a cam
Yeah.
for a while. I actually had a like old school like headset mic and
Yeah.
just no cam. After about a month or so, some dude actually was like nice enough to say, hey, I'll donate to get you a webcam. And once that kind of started happening,
Yeah.
he was like, okay, I don't get it, but like, all right. I mean, you're not hurting anyone,
Yeah.
so why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a super boredom turning into entertaining, I guess.
Oh no
Weird.
way. Now, what were you streaming back then?
Yeah, so originally Battlefield.
Yeah.
I've been playing Battlefield my whole life, and I actually had never even heard of Squad until
Yeah.
someone I probably had seen some YouTube videos like Karmika had done some
Yeah.
big videos back then. But the Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, and the way that I felt like I could be entertaining or at least maybe get some conversation going. I'm a very talkative person as
Yeah.
you can see as we're doing this, but on chat, like I kind of had like a stream of conscious of, I'm going to go to objective A. I think I'm going to flank the, I kind of just have a stream of conscious.
Yeah.
And I think that would help bridge the gap between not having a cam
Yeah.
and then people in chat. And so once that started happening, it didn't really matter if I was playing this battlefield or that battlefield.
Yeah.
Or as I started getting to squad, people were just kind of like, oh, okay, it's cool. We're hearing these games that they don't necessarily have like a big Twitch viewer base.
Yeah.
You're just kind of maybe hearing it in a different way that wouldn't, I guess, normally be like the typical Battlefield stream or
Right.
squad stream.
Yeah, because those guys are just running and engaging and not really providing the commentary that that you're doing.
Yeah, I think I'm a good shot, but I'm obviously I'm not a spry 18-year-old, doing 360 no scopes. I can definitely hit my shots,
Yeah.
but I felt like I had to separate myself. I can definitely pull off some good moments. I can pull off some stupid moments,
Yeah.
but I like talking and engaging with people. And I felt like that was no matter the game or no matter how
Yeah.
big the category size was. And Battlefield was, I think, a good place to start for me. It just kind of, Battlefield was super fun, kind of chill. There were
Yeah.
some up moments, down moments, and we could just kind of chat. It was
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, excellent. And now, what do you remember those first few people that came into your chat? You're like, okay, now, hi. What? How did you handle that?
I think it's so one thing I just remember getting affiliated.
Yeah.
And it was, getting the 3 viewers average. And, I always had, I'd have myself on my dashboard. I'd ask my wife to watch.
Yeah.
And then, my mom, everybody who watched my channel on at least on Twitch probably knows MoiDawg mom. She like pops in every once in a while.
No way.
So she's frequently in my chat, and I
excellent.
love it.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. And like I first I like that because I've had people come in, like I like if I can make content that makes other people like they enjoy it, but also my mom can watch it. Like I
Yeah.
feel like that's a pretty good. That covers
You're
the bases,
yeah. Totally.
But once the first like real people started showing up, I feel like I just tried to use like be cool. It's like all right, be
Yeah.
cool, that kind of stuff. And I don't know. It was more just at times you get kind of anxious if it's that person doesn't show up or whatever. And
Yeah.
I think after a couple weeks of where I was kind of steady around 5 to 10,
Yeah.
it starts to feel more natural when people show up or don't show up. And I think once the real people started engaging, you kind of just after a little bit, you're just like, okay, it's whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And that way, when you kind of blow up to 20,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, be cool.
Yeah.
And if you go back down to 5, 6, 7, you're just like, maybe people are busy today.
Yeah. And once you get to that level, you're realizing people are there to see you. They're not, you don't have
Yeah.
to be anything different. You can just be your normal self. It makes it easier.
Yeah, it's both a good thing and then a bad thing to realize that, I think, sometimes, because then it's like, oh, did they not show up because of me or
Right. Yeah.
something? But you can't, oh man, you can't do that all the time. You're gonna kill yourself just
Absolutely.
thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So now, how many years ago did you first go live? I forgot to ask you that question.
Yeah, 2018.
Oh, shoot.
2018 in September
Yeah.
2018. Got affiliated in October.
Yeah.
And then I really didn't even play squad though until 2019.
Yeah.
The first January 2019. Yeah.
And now, do you remember your first big raid when somebody dropped in? You were X, and all of a sudden now here's triple X people in the raid and dealing with that change.
Yeah. So my first big raid was Anton, actually, if you know
No
Tarkov.
way.
And I was in a hotel, and I was actually streaming Tarkov,
Yeah.
I believe, or I was streaming squad, and he was trying out squad or something like that. I think
Yeah.
actually, yeah, I think he was trying out squad. And I went from like a 15 to 17 viewer to like 700. It was
my
like, it was
Lord.
crazy,
Yeah.
and that was also, Anton, there was a period of time, it's like every day he was just on.
Yeah.
And so you could never, it's like, I would have never expected that,
Yeah.
and I did about 5 minutes into it, the hotel internet craps out.
Oh
And
no.
so I go from 7, and obviously people aren't going to stay, obviously.
Yeah.
But then it force removes like everybody. And I'm like, no, are you kidding? It's like you feel like you're going to get that big break, and then
Yeah.
someone pulls the rug out from under it.
Oh.
But people were, pull up my phone. I'm like, oh my God, the internet. And my regulars, they're like, oh, he's in a hotel. It's hilarious. Like, stick with us. And after maybe 100 or so people, 150 people stayed.
Yeah.
And obviously we dwindled down a little bit, but they were in chat like, don't worry, we got you, man. Internet sucks. And it was, if I were to get super negged out about it,
Yeah.
it would have ruined the vibe.
Yeah.
Internally, I was like, this sucks. I hate it.
Oh, God, yeah.
But just if you make a joke out of it and like, hey, it sucks, that's what you get. I'm in a hotel.
Yeah.
It was super fun. So the chat going back, like just flying by was crazy.
Yeah.
I always try to talk to everyone I engage with in chat. That couldn't happen.
Right.
So that type of stuff. But no, it was fun, and it makes you feel like you're part of Twitch.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
totally.
it's cool. Yeah.
And now, back then, were you rolling 17, 15, 17 viewers? Did you have a mod back then, or were you like modless when, Anton dropped the raid?
I had a maybe 1 or 2, but it wasn't really. I mean, my chat was relatively chill. I'm kind of a chill. We have a really kind of. Everyone says, "Oh, I want a welcoming and positive community and stuff," but
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like it might seem stereotypical, but I feel like we're all kind of chill.
Yeah.
We help people out. So I really didn't have any mods. Probably for even after that, for probably a couple. I mean, I had 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But they weren't. They maybe show up like every other day, stop
Yeah.
in for a couple, and then go. So luckily, it wasn't crazy. I didn't have to deal with much. But
Yeah.
no, I mean those are the things. I think every time something big like a raid would happen, or maybe you get that one person who spams, it's
Yeah.
like then I would be like, okay, I need to now do this for the stream, or I need
Right.
to protect that or stuff. So no, I was caught modless.
Oh, that's awesome. And now, when did you get your partner, and how did you find out? What is your partner story?
Yeah, so partner story. So I'm coming up on 2 years of partnership.
Yeah.
And it's really weird because when you think of squad, the category, especially when I first started streaming it, when I first started, I went from, I had grinded, so the grind
Yeah.
for now maybe 30 viewers That was my concurrents were 20 to 30. It was, you know, and even there, going from 20 to 30, that's a big swing. You know, that's a big percentage wise. That's a lot not showing up or showing up or whatever. So I started I started falling out of love with Battlefield 5 because I hated the game. I hated the direction it was going. And this was early 2019. And I started to dabble a little bit into squad.
Yeah.
And it was so negative playing Battlefield 5. People only complain about it. It was, and so I couldn't stream and just hear negativity all day.
Right. No.
So I took a leap and I just started, I like hard cut from Battlefield into squad. And I went from 30 viewers peaking into the 50s. I went down to like 10.
Yeah.
And that like sucked. People were like, yo, Moi, we'll watch you if you play squad. They didn't show up. You know, it's like, it happens. That's, you know, I don't blame them, but people always say they'll watch you and they don't. So you take it with a grain of salt. So I spent the next few months, I was playing squad, just going into it. It was still a hobby. You know, I was then able to, I got actually accepted into the squad partner program. So I was a content creator for squad. And then that's when the YouTube started picking up with some tutorials and guides. And so over the next year, I did almost only squad. Yeah. And within probably by that fall, I was kind of back up to 30, 40 viewers. Yeah. And that was crazy. You know, I kind of rebuilt. Early 2020, I was turning 30 that year. Yeah. Now I'm getting old there. And I had wanted it to be almost like a goal because they always tell you to do or try to do like a partner push. You know, if you can get the only way that you can do this, I feel like is if you get the community behind you. Yeah. And I was my 30th birthday was in April. So I was around 50 viewers by February or March, somewhere around there. And going from 50 to 75 concurrent, it feels like it could be easy. But I mean, that you're 50% increase of your viewership. That's huge. So I challenged the community. I said, if we do it, you know, I'll get a potato nade tattoo, which right now I don't have it right now because of COVID. I'm getting it this month for TwitchCon. I promise you that. But I said I'll get a potato nade tattoo because my emotes, potato nades. I got a potato nade plush here. Yeah. And over the next, you know, I thought it was going to take a while. I didn't think we were going to hit it. Yeah. And we started going, you know, in the 50s, the 60s. 75, and then when I hit that first 75 concurrent, I was like, we can do this. But they don't tell you, at least when you first apply, that you need to average 75 concurrent for like a month. Yeah. And so I was also anyone who's also watched knows that I've had a horrible relationship with Comcast, my internet provider back then, and I actually had a couple streams where I hadn't hit the 75 concurrent. Yeah. And Comcast knocked out my internet. And so I'd gone 20 days of hitting 75 concurrent. Comcast knocks out my internet, and I'm looking at a stream that's going to be about maybe 60. And I feel like my heart sinks. And I'm like, this sucks. So I pull out my phone, I put on my mobile data, and I fire up the laptop, and I couldn't run squad while because I didn't have enough internet. Right. So my wife calls all my family members, all my extended family members. We get everybody on Discord, like saying, yo, just please. I'm looking at the stats. I'm seeing it count. It's like 63, 65, 66. Yeah. And I'm waiting there. And we finally get to 77. I wanted a buffer in case it got weird. And we were watching like stupid dog and cat videos, random stuff that shouldn't even make sense. Yeah. And it's like everybody there, I think in the stream was just like, I know it's going to be another couple hours, but let's just do this. Let's get past this one stream. Let's make sure we get 75 concurrent and then we're good to go. So that was like the turning point. Once we hit that, thankfully I didn't have any other internet issues. Yeah. Finished up the week of 75 concurrent. And from then on, I'd actually, with all the momentum and then playing squad so consistently, I was getting 80, 90 concurrent. And then I actually ended stream in August of or was it oh man, did I miss my partner anniversary? Oh my God. I've been dealing with a 2.5-year-old and a 6-month-old for so long. I moved houses. Did I miss a partner anniversary? Holy crap.
Oh.
Maybe I did. I don't know. But I remember ending stream one day and I saw the little notification that
Yeah.
says you've been accepted.
Oh, wow.
And I wish I had seen it when I was on stream, but I didn't. I ended stream. I yelled top of my lungs, screamed to my wife.
Oh.
She ran in, like fell over. It was crazy. And it's like you think about all the times that maybe you didn't go out, or it's like that you didn't feel like streaming
Yeah.
and you just did it anyway type stuff. So it was definitely a grind. But I mean, it's been a blast ever
Oh,
since.
excellent. And so it was just the first time you applied, you got it?
Oh no, sorry. I got denied the first time.
Oh, okay.
I got denied the first time, and then the second time they said we just
Nice.
need some consistency.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that one, man. But it's that's when I ran into the internet issues. But yeah, that
Oh my
man,
word.
it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Holy cow. And now over the years, what would you say has been the toughest thing about streaming? Not so much the YouTube side of things, but just being live on Twitch for.
Uh, it's people always see it as like you're playing video games.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's very hard, I think, day in and day out to know that like my buddies could go to work and have a crappy day and just sit in their cubicle all day,
Yeah.
and it's not going to affect. I mean, obviously, if you start being super negative all the time and start screwing off on your work and stuff, you'll
Yeah.
have ramifications. But like your income and your growth and your momentum can get super affected by if you have a couple bad streams in a
Yeah.
row. You start ruining, like you get into your mental
Yeah.
and that type of stuff. So having I guess the composure sometimes to just be like, you know what, I might not feel that good, but I don't need to bring that to someone who's just watching.
Right.
And I think everybody who's ever streamed has that moment where they get super pissed on stream because they're pissed in real life.
Yeah.
And you press the end stream button afterwards. You're like, dude, why? Like,
Yeah.
come on now, because that type of stuff just sucks. So getting to realize that at times this is just going to be a job, and smile and have fun, and if the real world kind of sucks, maybe there's a time to talk about it on stream, maybe not, just
Yeah.
but you don't have to do that all the time.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to bare your soul and throw it all out there. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so sometimes people just want to watch video games or chat or do whatever you want. You don't need
Yeah.
to be super mopey all the time if you are actually mopey.
Yeah, that is the one thing I've noticed since joining into the Tarkov community, seeing things play out on social media is like, yeah, just keep the kimono closed sometimes. We don't need to know
Yeah.
all of that, but I guess everybody's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's I don't know, especially I think being older I mean, I'm technically older, I'm 32.
Yeah.
And a lot of streamers are younger, and so it's very, I'm not saying I'm not emotional, I don't get worked up, I don't
Yeah.
rage, or I don't get tilted or whatever, but I definitely feel like having that maturity and then not starting this, back when I was coming out of college, was probably a good thing.
Right.
And it's definitely helped shape some things, but yeah, it's a different beast, and unfortunately some people get tilted, and you're like, you kind of learn from how they screwed up. You're
Yep.
like, all right, maybe I won't act like that. So
Yeah, but no, you bring up a good point though about being an older person getting into this, and not so much saying that you're older. I'm 50. So, but it's like somebody who's professional career, a house, parent. You've seen a lot. A lot of things been thrown at you. This is not. You're not in your 20s and looking at this as life and death. If I don't get this, that's it. I'm done. You know how to adapt at this point.
yeah, I mean, it's a pretty, no matter what you do in a career, changing your career is a kind of like, are we going to do it?
Yeah.
Like, is this real life? So, I mean, it first started by trying to just pay electric. It's a
Yeah.
hobby.
Yeah.
If I can cover my electric, it's cool. And then I would start to now willingly not accept consulting jobs because I felt like it would, I'd make like way more money.
Yeah.
One day of consulting compared to one day of streaming was, I mean, it's a no brainer.
Yeah.
But I wasn't enjoying it. I
Right.
hated it, and so you had to, if we hit certain financial checkpoints,
Yeah.
and it's like it would make sense as a family to do this.
Right.
And that's something that I feel like, a lot of people, if they get into streaming, you join a house, bunch of buddies, you start streaming, you
Yeah.
cut expenses, and trying to make very methodical. I need to do this on YouTube. I need to do this on Twitch, and only then can I feel like it's safe to just have that little bit more.
Yeah.
It's very methodical. It's probably not the best way to grow, but
Mhm.
it's the best way to, I feel like, be secure. And
Yeah.
that's something that's definitely, I feel like I differ from a lot of people on the platform.
Yeah. Now, did you get to a certain point, or what was that point you got to, or did you even notice, or just gradually where you said, "All right, I'm good now. I don't have to worry about doing these consulting gigs, and if I have to, I can always pick one up. But I think we're, smooth sailing. Not that this will ever be smooth sailing, but it's comfortable."
That's yeah. Well, I actually, around COVID, I finally decided that I'm sick of consulting. I'm sick of traveling. My wife was pregnant.
Yeah.
I didn't. I spent 2018, or sorry, 2019. I spent almost 120 days in hotel rooms.
Oh my lord.
And that sucks.
Yep.
Like, I got plenty of miles. I got some nice rewards to use at hotels, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's it wears on you. And
Absolutely.
so we were talking to my wife. I actually I got certified as an EMT. I was
Yeah.
in fire school, and then COVID happened. So
Yeah.
I still at that moment wasn't planning on doing full-time content creation.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a first responder. I wanted to go in a fire.
Yeah.
EMT was amazing. I absolutely love that. And COVID happened, and nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm in the middle of fire school, where I am now first in line to potentially get sick and maybe not come home to see my like 2-month-old.
Right.
And so that was like a really scary thing,
Yeah.
because it's like I still was streaming.
Mhm.
I still was doing YouTube, and it was now at a point where we were like, I could postpone fire school. Like, we can see if this all just blows over,
Yeah.
or if it's going to get crazy. So let's take a break from fire school for a second. Let's make sure, we have some savings, with streaming and YouTube, maybe combine our salaries. We can make things work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's when the pandemic hit and I decided to just go full in and drop fire,
Yeah.
that's when monetarily it kind of, especially with YouTube, that's where it kind of was like, okay, I think we can do this. And by
Yeah.
the time where the next session for fire school was able to come up,
Mhm.
my wife and I were like, we could just keep growing this.
Yeah.
And that was like a scary thing. So that was late 2020 when I got partnered. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I got partnered, I honestly don't think, if COVID happened, or COVID didn't happen, I don't think I would have had the time or momentum to get partnered.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, wow.
I hard cut everything. I mean, especially if you're going to EMT and fire, there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
I was doing flashcards. You have to learn about everything, and able to just kind of pause that and put everything into YouTube and everything
Yeah.
into Twitch was huge. So by 2020, late 2020, we kind of like, all right, if it stops working, we'll go back. But
Right.
if it, and I haven't looked back since.
Oh,
So
that's
it's been crazy.
And you hit a good point there about, like you said, you were out of, that 1 year, 120 days in hotels, and people can look at us like, oh, that's awesome. You're eating out all the time. You're different
sucks.
cities. It does.
Oh God.
And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're making good money. Well, it's that work-life balance. You're not in your own bed. You're like, chores are, and it's like you feel bad because your wife's at home. Yeah, it's tough.
It's really tough. Obviously, I think everybody would love to spend a week where they are just in a hotel or different city.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to middle of nowhere, Idaho. I went to like the largest steel mill in North America,
Yeah.
which is surprise. It's by nothing. You know,
Yeah.
there's nothing in it. And so a lot of these times, it's not only am I not with my wife,
Yeah.
I'm not with anybody.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that's especially where I would wake up at about 4:30 in the morning. I would get on site by 5 to 5:30, depending on the client. I'd
Yeah.
work till 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I'd take a power nap, grab some food, and then stream for 4 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was I I took that time to just stay consistent with streaming
Yeah.
while supporting us, you know,
Yeah.
with consulting, and it was kind of just it was a grind, but it wasn't. I saw what I wanted to do every night, and I
Yeah.
did what I had to do every day. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I like that line.
Yeah.
And now, from when you were streaming from the hotel, what were you playing? Was the gaming laptop doing both Battlefield and handling the stream, or were you streaming other things?
Yeah, I was able to get squad working
Okay.
if I had I got like the fan thing.
Yeah.
I had like an alien, not Alienware. It was like a Dell gaming,
Yeah.
which worked really well. But it was kind of iffy. Graphics weren't the best.
Yeah.
I would do squad. I did some Tarkov here and there.
Yeah.
A lot of times, if you know it wasn't working out, we just did something, hung out for a little bit. I at
Yeah.
least wanted to have that consistency of being live in the
Yeah.
evening. And if you at least press live, and you know have a plan. If I didn't want to, if we weren't playing a video game, at least had a plan for what we were watching or something.
Yeah.
Some YouTube videos or just talking or chilling
Yeah.
or whatever. But that just I wanted to be consistent. And yeah, the laptop, when I was able to get that laptop, that was huge because
Yeah.
now I always felt like once I went to work doing my actual job,
Yeah.
I felt like I'd get like forgotten, peter out. So that was
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, cool. And now, over the years, what has been the highlight from YouTube or Twitch that you look back on as like, wow, I can't believe I got that stream, or this video popped? Or you went to PAX or something. What's been
Mhm.
the highlight for you?
Um, it's my man, I don't know. So it's actually it's funny because when I first went to TwitchCon, I went to TwitchCon in 2019. I think
Yeah.
that was the last one they had, and so I'll be back in a month or two. But when I went to TwitchCon, I went to by then I was a squad partner,
Yeah.
and I went to TwitchCon, and all like a lot of the devs would actually hang out on my Twitch stream, and a lot
Oh,
of
cool.
QA people, especially because they could see the games.
Yeah.
But I got to know a lot of the devs through Twitch, and I was like, that's so cool. So I'll be at the squad booth. I get to the squad booth. They don't know who I am. Like it's like these two marketing people. They have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
And at the time, I'm like I wouldn't say I was the biggest, Karma Cut was obviously
Yeah.
making huge YouTube videos, and Drewski's making a YouTube video here and there. But I was like day in, day out, the squad guy on stream at least.
Yeah.
And so I go in like, I'm the squad guy, and they're like, who the hell are you? Oh, okay, cool. MoiDawg. So going from that, and then within a year being flown out to Vancouver at the OWI offices
Wow.
for a Stack Up charity event, where I saw the offices. I was able to hang out with all the devs. So that growth, it's like, all right, it's like that is cool. So
Yeah.
I now, whereas before I thought I was like a hot shot, it's like that I got checked really hard.
Yeah.
And then going to Offworld Industries and seeing them, and them acknowledging that it's like it would be great to have you.
Yeah.
That was
That's
that was cool.
cool. That's pretty cool. Now, I did see a picture. I think you posted a picture on Instagram or something of you and Dr. Disrespect.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was TwitchCon. Man, it was great actually. So I also got a picture with Tyler One, which
Yeah.
is funny because he's like 5'0", and I'm 6'4", so I'm
Oh my
pretty tall.
God.
But the Dr. Disrespect, yeah, rarely do I see people that are taller than me.
Yeah.
And so I think he's like 6'7" or something.
Yeah.
And so, but it was amazing. So he had a meet and greet, and you had to. I mean, I remember in the convention, Center, I was in line for I don't know how long. It was
Yeah.
forever. And we go up and there's maybe 20 or 30 people ahead of us.
Yeah.
And the Twitch people say, all right, his session
Oh.
ended. You can't meet him anymore. And we're all there like, no, Doc, like, come on. And he's over at the little, his little meat booth or whatever. He's
Yeah.
hanging out with his daughter, he's hanging out with his wife, they're kind of closing up. And he turns around and he sees, I mean, there was maybe 6 of us left.
Yeah.
Because we're just like, dude, I just want to see Doc. We're not hurting anyone. We're just standing.
Yeah.
And he comes over and like off the clock basically comes up and hangs out with us, chats
Yeah.
with us for a couple minutes, takes a few more pictures. Totally didn't have to. Super nice
cool.
guy, super awesome. I mean, he had his backpack on his shoulder ready to go with his family when he did that extra one. So that was
Yeah.
awesome. And then he looks up and he's like, I don't like it when I can see eye to eye to people. 'Cause he's like, when you're tall, it's weird seeing other tall
Right.
people. So
Yeah.
that was awesome. Yeah, that was fun.
That's cool. So now, what advice would you give to somebody who's going live for the first time, or they're going to make some videos for YouTube? What are some things that people should keep in mind?
Okay, so we'll start. Let's say Twitch first. So
All
if
right.
you're going, or I guess if you want a YouTube stream, where you stream, if you're going live first, just go live. Just go live. People like build this crazy thing up, and sorry to burst your bubble. Most people will probably not watch you on your first stream. That's okay. Just get it out of the way. Just stream it. A lot of people, I do this same thing where I overthink things, and I'm like, oh my god, it has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just press the live button. But into getting into streaming, always consider it a hobby first. Assume you will never make any money.
Yeah.
And just do what you want to do. Don't do it like, there's some formula that says if you do Minecraft streams and create Minecraft clips, you'll probably, turn out to be the next Mr. Beast or something. But if you're fake and you do that long enough, people are going to tell that you're fake.
Yeah.
And it comes off, unfortunately, for some people, I feel like they can fake it for only so long and then people can see it. But pick a game that you like that has a reasonable community. Don't pick some retro game because you think it's cool or whatever. Realistically, you can grow anywhere, but if you want to grow on Twitch, you have to pick a category that has some life to it, or at least has some life injected into it from somewhere like YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's where, if you're consistent, like whether it's 2 hours every other day, 2 hours on a Thursday, 1 hour, 3 hours, whatever. If you're constantly doing different games, if you're constantly doing different hours, if you're starting your stream at 6 a.m. and then 7 p.m., nobody knows what to expect, when to expect you, how long to expect you. So consistency is a huge one. And that's, I think, the best you can get for Twitch. Pick something you like, be consistent, and if your microphone works and you're entertaining, people will come back or should come back.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent advice. All right. So now you're going to go live. You get to pick 3 other people. You call out their names, all-stars, OGs, people playing today. Who would you like to run a raid with, or what game are you playing live? What other 3 people?
I've been a Summit fan for ages. He was the first person that I've ever kind of watched.
Yeah.
I've ran into him casually in games like Foxhole. Ran into a couple times, doing No Pixel. It indirectly just happened.
Yeah.
But being able to do a raid or squatting up with him would be great. Just hanging out. So yeah, Summit would definitely be one. C's. Now he does more variety and fighting stuff, but C's or CDN the Third, I guess, is his actual Twitch name. He's like so energetic and entertaining, and his like laughter is just infectious, and it's like those are the type of people. He's obviously fantastic at games, but like sometimes I kind of hate when people are serious all the time.
Yeah.
He can be serious, but then he can just have a blast. I'd love to do that. And then last one would be Doc.
Yeah.
Doc.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's a
love
good
Doc.
Combination. All right. So now over to YouTube. What made you want to create content for YouTube, and was Battlefield the first videos you put together?
Battlefield was the first. Well, actually, so I made a YouTube video years, like 15 years ago, something like that, where I replayed Saving Private Ryan. Like, just I had a screen, and it
Yeah.
was like myself. I was home in the summer from college or something. I had the camera, and I did like Saving Private Ryan in 120 seconds or something.
Yeah.
And I've always liked that kind of entertaining or creating something and seeing how people respond to it.
Yeah.
And I that I think was my first real video, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do, which is why, like I said, if I continued to make videos back in college, I think that I would have gotten nowhere. I would have burned it and been like, man, content creation sucks. I can't do it. So I'm glad I got some stuff out of my system,
Yeah.
grew up a bit, and I realized that, I not necessarily being Asmongold actually did something kind of similar with World of Warcraft. He wasn't necessarily the most knowledgeable, but he was able to take all the information that's out there and present it in a way that made sense.
Okay.
And so, he took all the World of Warcraft stuff and then said, okay, this is how you do this quest, or this is how you do that thing. And so I felt like with Squad, obviously, I played a lot. I didn't know everything, but I wanted to at least help people learn a game that seems very difficult. And if you have a large Tarkov community, it's the same thing. You got Sherpas, you got people. It's a hard game to get into. It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
And so trying to make a game, I always kind of say it's like making tactical games fun, because tactical games sometimes are really not fun. And so trying to lower the barrier of entry, make people feel like they now know enough to get their feet wet. And then it's funny though, apparently the videos did well. I watch them now and I cringe at like my voice and my microphone and all that stuff. But I think I've always been very good at presentations and PowerPoints and standing up and presenting. And so realizing that after a few of the gaming, like my montages, they just kind of go into nowhere.
Yeah.
Nice cool clips, they go into nothingness. But then once I started doing like, hey, this is what's happening in Squad right now. This is an update that's happening. This is a tutorial. Those type of stuff. It's like, all right, I started to get some momentum. So going into the tutorial learning first has now put me, I think, in a position where I have enough of a community that they help support maybe the less clickable. Now they're more clickable, but less clickable at then gaming moments, you know? So it's kind of starting the foundation of knowledge and teaching, and now being able to have both knowledge and teaching and the fun gaming moments where before maybe it was only teaching. So
yeah. And now, did you have an editing background? Were you editing stuff, in college or anything like that, or really, jumping?
I was learned. Yeah. I've always been into Photoshop.
Yeah.
I back in like Warcraft and RuneScape. I was really big in RuneScape. We'd have little there's like RuneScape. I'm blanking on the forum name, but it was a forum, and you could make little. Back in old school internet, you'd have an avatar, and you'd also have like a footer whenever you posted on a forum.
Yeah.
So for RuneScape and Call of Duty, I started doing a lot of Photoshop, and so that kind of turned into this. But I pretty much just taught myself, did tutorials.
Yeah.
And just you put in the effort to try to learn something. It's worth it.
Oh, that's so cool. And now, when it comes to the first-person shooter genre, or actually, let's talk. Yeah, I guess first-person shooters with Battlefield. Looking back at that franchise, what was your favorite Battlefield game?
Favorite would be 2142.
Okay.
Yeah, the old school Battlefield 2142.
Yeah.
It was futuristic. There were floating tanks. I love tanks.
Yeah.
You would go and try to board a Titan and then blow up the Titan and stuff like that. It was really cool. It's criminally underplayed, underrated.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that one redone.
And now, that being said, the highs of Battlefield, what's your take on where Battlefield is today?
I hate Battlefield. I think honestly, the only reason I would purchase another Battlefield is because it's a business expense.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't recommend people to buy it for the next one. I wouldn't recommend people to pre-order the next one. I feel like the whole studio has just let the franchise down. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really they need to just scratch it in 2042 after Battlefield 5. Battlefield 5 was the first foray into live service.
Yeah.
Live service kind of failed for Battlefield 5, and it was followed up by an even worse failure with 2042.
Yeah.
You're in a year into the game, and you're just getting into a season 2 with a couple of weapons. They're talking about some of the stuff in their most recent season update. They're actually teasing for the next season. So some of the stuff they're talking about to try to hype you up, you're not even getting right now. So I hate it. It's unfortunate. It's sad.
It was
My childhood has died.
Yeah, it was so disappointing. Like they're coming out with a modern Battlefield, and it's like, oh, how can they screw it up? Battlefield 4 was so good. They didn't have to do much, and they really screwed the pooch on it.
Yeah, I mean, so did you play like old school Battlefield?
Yeah,
yeah. Like it sucks. Like I feel like, especially now, it's like I grew up on Battlefield.
Right. Yeah.
And I can't even. It's like now to be a Battlefield player, you're like, dude, really?
Yeah.
You don't. All right, we're in public. Don't tell people in public that, dude.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's tough. And now, so I've seen you stream. You do Foxhole, you do Squad. Because you're the sort of the squad guy, how does your community, do you notice a change in your community or your numbers when you're switching up games from like Foxhole to Squad and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, people always kind of say, if you don't like a game, go just stream a different game, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people can't. A lot of people, and those ones who can, they spend a lot of time streaming one game to get to where they can stream other games.
Yeah.
And so I do think, I'm at a point where if I really don't want to stream Squad, then I won't.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm now kind of like as we started when we were first talking, I'm content creator, not a streamer. I'm not a YouTuber either. I'm kind of an everything, or trying to be an everything.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you can definitely see it, because I've also done War Thunder, done some trying to stay in the same kind of genre, but then completely random stuff, and it's the completely random stuff. You'll see numbers drop, and you try to just say, I'm trying it out, or maybe I really want to do it or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's funny to me when, most people who stream full time will stream anywhere from 5 to 6 days a week, somewhere on all 7. But the fact that you can be live 5 days a week for over 6 hours, and the moment you swap once, you'll have like followers just disappear. Wow. You're like, dude, it's like, what? It's like, dude, what? It's this weird. And it's like, I get it. Maybe they first followed during a different game, and but it took a while before it's like, okay, I don't care. You just kind of, if you think about every time that your number goes down because you're trying something different, you're going to go insane. Yeah. And there's going to be a time where I can't play Squad because nobody cares about Squad anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to care about Tarkov anymore.
Yeah.
And you can see it, especially now. You see Tarkov streamers now, where it gets in a lull, and you see someone. I think Klean is a fantastic example. He's like, dude, I hated Tarkov.
Yeah.
I needed a hard break, and he swapped variety. And now, yeah, maybe his numbers aren't as high as Tarkov.
Yeah.
When he was full into Tarkov, but now it doesn't matter what he plays. He's getting a consistent number. And he hard swapped to variety, and it's fantastic. It's probably great for his mental. Overall, his financially evened out too, because now it's there. And so, it's trying these things. I think it's anxious, but when you grow, or at least do this for enough time, you're like, okay, I'm okay taking some calculated risks and stuff like that. But if you worry about the numbers too much, man, you'll drive yourself insane.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're so right about the once you've established yourself, you almost need to go variety, because for your mental aspect of things, that game will dry up. And you need to have, if this is what your career is, you're going to need to have other games, and you need to be happy playing them too.
Yeah, you need to take the, I wouldn't actually no. With GeeksEh. GeeksEh's a fantastic. He was actually a Hearthstone streamer. I don't know if many. So he hard swapped, and he said it was tough going from close to 100 down to 30. Then
Yeah.
went back to Tarkov. And now, I mean, he's a Sherpa. He's got all his stuff going
Yeah.
on. So it's the kind of stuff where, yeah, you got to, I think, if Geeks probably went over to squad, he'd probably have around consistent numbers.
Yeah.
And if you try to kind of do your variety within your niche a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
start kind of testing the waters and then do something crazy, see how it goes.
Yeah.
But if you're playing, I mean, I was looking on earth, I'm at almost 4,000 hours played for squad.
Wow.
If you're doing that much, like you can't do that every day all the time and be not insane.
Yeah.
It's like you need breaks.
Yeah.
You need to try to freshen up. I'll do a random video really every once in a while, and it might absolutely bomb. And you're like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
I needed a mental break. But then if I actually didn't try Foxhole for nearly 2 years because I didn't think my viewers would like the top-down aspect of it.
Yeah.
I artificially closed that door on myself, and then I went full in, and it ended up being a fantastic YouTube series that I never knew I could even do.
Yeah.
And so, it's something like that where, the videos now, when I was posting my War 3 series, every new video would actually, when you first logged into Foxhole, it would be MoiDawg's video next episode. So
Yeah.
it's stuff like that where if you don't take those risks, you might actually unintentionally be preventing you to go somewhere you never went before.
Yeah.
And Foxhole, I'm a very, very hard into squad, but I'd say Foxhole is one of the reasons why my YouTube took off so well. I got
wow.
fantastic growth with Foxhole. And I never would have done it if I just didn't take a chance. So
Yeah.
you got to do it sometimes.
Absolutely. And it's funny. Foxhole is one game in my Steam library that just intimidates me for whatever reason. It just I see people playing it. It looks cool, but I don't know where to even begin on that game.
I definitely tend to play more games that require community and communication and working together. I like single player games, but yeah, those a game like Foxhole, I think people are always intimidated when if they do something and it screws up, people will know about it.
Yeah.
And two, having to break the ice to say, I actually don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me?
Yeah.
And that type of stuff, especially with Foxhole and it being persistent. I mean, it's an MMO type thing. That is intimidating. But I mean, it's kind of like Tarkov. If you're telling someone to play Tarkov for the first time, you're trying to level their expectations and say you will lose everything on you when you're first raid, right? So just who cares? Like everyone's done it. Just try to have fun with it.
Absolutely. All right. So the moment I've waited to talk to you about squad. All right.
Yeah.
So how did you end up finding squad? I think you talked about earlier. It was just something that you came across and was like, all right, let's fire it up. And
yeah, I actually had a viewer gift squad. So I think it's hilarious. I've actually never financially supported Offworld Industries. I got a squad gifted to me. And then, so I got it gifted like almost last day of 2018.
Yeah.
I didn't actually first start playing until 2019. And it was like the battlefield that I wanted. It's people always say like Battlefield has to be arcadey, and you have to have those big battlefield moments and stuff. And I like taking, like, especially with the original Call of Duty, and same with the older Battlefields. If you add just a little dab of realism, a little dab of slower pace, more tactical, obviously it might not be the most meta to do that, but it can be. You can have fun trying to put these limitations on, and that it just all of a sudden I was like, oh my god, this game is awesome. It's old school server browser where you have a dedicated server. You could see Jimmy the RPG guy every day if you wanted to. You weren't in these phantom lobbies like Call of Duty,
right?
You had voice chat that was fantastic. There was no dabbing. There weren't any purple skins. It was like, this is like a game. It felt like a game that I grew up playing, but it was now in a better engine, and it was with military stuff that was relatively realistic.
Yeah.
And once I started playing that in early 2019, I would do a little bit of Battlefield and then do a little bit of squad, and do a little Battlefield, a little squad, and then more squad and less Battlefield. And I just fell in love with every game could be different because it's dependent on the players.
Right.
You could do whatever it was very, I mean, you have objectives, but you can choose what you want to do. And the kind of sandbox aspect, community aspect, working with other players, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just enamored with it, and yeah, the rest is history.
Very cool. And now, what's some of the things that you would like to see them add from a content creator standpoint, and also just from a person who enjoys playing the game?
So I think if I'm being honest, Squad is at a point where it's they need to finish what they promised in their original Kickstarter development. And we want to do 100 players, they got 200 players. We
Yeah.
want to add helicopters, they got helicopters. They need to add their other faction or two, whatever they want to add. And I really feel like the only way Squad can improve at this point is to have a Squad 2.
Yeah.
And or you need to push the boundary of the engine's capabilities, and I think they've about done that.
Yeah.
A game like this, like Squad, and not having destructible environments,
Yeah.
it takes away a lot of the amazingness that you can have.
Yeah.
And it's, if anything, if I could ask for one thing, it'd be destructible environments. But knowing the technical limitations, that's not going to happen until a Squad 2.
Yeah.
So just the biggest thing I think Squad has got going for it right now is that they finally at a place where mods can thrive. A lot of modded gameplay, new factions, new weapons, completely new game modes. Like there's a RTS Squad
I saw
version,
that, yeah.
Satcom, that they're working on. So that stuff, you've seen it in other games. If you let mods thrive, your game will survive forever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I even saw. Is there even a Star Wars mod for Squad?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the better Battlefront. Yeah,
Oh, no kidding. I know. I saw
Yeah.
some of them. My son was playing. Like, holy shit, that's awesome. Yeah.
it's really cool. Yeah, they did
Yeah.
a fantastic job. It really feels like you're playing what Battlefront 2 should have
Yeah.
been. Yeah,
Yeah, you're right on the destructible environment, because that was one of the things I really enjoyed about Battlefield 4, because that could change how you approach things. Like, somebody's hiding out a building. All right, let's just level it.
yeah, just blow it up.
Yeah.
And here you can be in like some little wooden shack, and 155 millimeter round will just blow up right next to you. Like, cool, dude.
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah. So that type of stuff takes it takes away from you.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Now, is there any aspect of the game you'd like them to change, like, some OP stuff, or?
Not really. I mean, honestly, the game modes are super outdated.
Yeah.
Squad came from Project Reality.
Yeah.
Project Reality was a mod for Battlefield 2, and they had a game mode called Insurgency where it was very dynamic. You could have insurgents on the other team who could pose as civilians, and there wasn't just one way to win a game of Insurgency.
Yeah.
And having more dynamic game modes, I think. I feel like a lot of times people, when they're making games or they're making game modes, it doesn't matter whether it's Squad or whatever, but they're really worried that people are going to make the wrong choices in a game. And like,
Yeah.
it's okay if people screw up in games. It's like, I don't need to be on rails all the time.
Right.
I don't need to always do the meta thing. Maybe I want to try different things and see what works, and not just going, objective A, B, C, or whatever.
Yeah.
Letting players still live in the Squad verse, but then play it differently would be awesome. So
Yeah.
more game modes, 100%. Yeah,
Cool.
Work on it.
All right. Eye in the Sky. I have to tell
Yeah.
you, that is the coolest shit I have seen in a while. How you approach that, and what you build out of that. Oh man, it's what a lot of games need to have, and the way you call it out. So what is Eye in the Sky? How would you describe Eye in the Sky?
Eye in the Sky is my my imagining of how video games should be. It's how you would watch a video game. You'd sit on your couch, crack open your drink of choice, and you would watch whatever game you wanted and have it shoutcasted like it's sports.
Yeah.
Like, that is how I want to watch something that is super cinematic and communicative as Squad.
Yeah.
You can enjoy it. And as much as I like first person shooters, Eye in the Sky takes the admin camera and the top down perspective, so you can see the entire battlefield. You can zoom in. I can go super micro and look at one little fire team or one person, or go super macro and then look at how the whole battlefield's evolving. And with games that can last upwards of 2 hours, you can tell a whole story, of this. And if you thankfully I've played way too much squad, so I'm familiar enough of how maps kind of flow and how people react. And so being able to get the key moments, I will say it is very hard to direct and also shoutcast at the same time, because you're trying to get all the shots. But it is, think like American football but squad.
Yeah.
Like,
The only
it's
thing you're
hype.
the only thing you're missing is the John Madden telestrator to like map, right on the screen. It's okay. You're gonna see them move up here,
Yeah.
and yeah, it is awesome.
Yeah, no, it's I actually, one of so Johnny Omaha is also a squad partner, and he used to do a lot of the original squad tournaments, and he would shoutcast squad tournaments, and I would just love kind of chilling with him. And we both did a couple tournaments where you are the caster for a tournament.
Yeah.
And one of his streams, because he would stream every once in a while, and it would just be admin cam. He likes playing, but he likes more just kind of watching and doing kind of the directing type thing. And so I watched one of those, and I was like, it'd be really cool. Like, Johnny Oma's a fantastic caster, by the way. But I was like, it'd be cool is if you kind of like turn this up to like 11.
Yeah.
And people think like I'm faking. I just love squad. Like, I get so hyped because I love seeing these moments that I have been in first person shootery, but now I can see, like, you've always wanted to see what it looks like when you do this stuff.
Yeah.
And so doing that has been crazy, just going into and trying it out once or twice on stream, and then people saying, hey, I really like that, and then putting it on YouTube. I mean, you have people who, collectively, I think Eye in the Sky as a series with all the episodes has over 2 million views.
Wow.
On YouTube, and a couple of videos have 400, 500,000 views.
Yeah.
And that has been a huge part of my channel, that once again, if I didn't just try it, it would have never existed. But it's exciting. I just get hyped watching squad.
Yeah.
And so if I can get other people, there are so many people who don't play squad who just watch it.
Yeah.
Like, they just kick their feet up and just have a blast. Because as they say in the comments, it's like I'm watching sports.
Right.
But I care about this team.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I for one, I've tried squad. I really want to play it, but watching Eye in the Sky is just so much more enjoyable, because you're seeing the like you said, the micro version or macro, and you're zooming in, you're hearing the chat or what they're doing, and you're laying commentary on top of that. It's just, it's watching football, like Monday Night Football, but it's just, you're watching squad.
Yeah, Milsim football.
Yeah.
You love it. Yeah, it's great. I absolutely love it. And it's really nice to have such a series where you now have people, they recognize the names, they recognize, you have people saying, oh, that was me in there and stuff like that. So being able to be and offer that to the community as well is it's really cool. It's the squad is a tough game. So when people can be I guess part of something that's just kind of fun and exciting. I love it.
Well, and it's granted, it's a lot of people to make it up and running, but that is like you could take that to a competitive league if you had enough teams and whatnot, and team A versus team B, and let's do a series, best out of 3 or something like that.
Yeah, I know I've casted some tournaments in the past, and one of my, I guess, biggest complaints about maybe squad tournaments is that it's really hard to get. You have to have like a football, like American football roster.
Yeah.
I mean, you got like at max, like a squad is 100-player game, so you got 50 on 50.
Yeah.
So you have usual tournaments for squad in the past would be around 30 people.
Yeah.
But they would also be over the course of like months, because getting 60 people in one place at one time from all across the world, it's a lot. So my dream tournament would be kind of like all in one weekend. Let's just cast it, let's just rock it, whatever happens. You have the best ofs, and that would be awesome, because it's people love watching squad, more than they like after a long work day.
Yep.
Squad is one of those games. Tarkov is too.
Yeah.
Tarkov's one of those games. Squad is where sometimes you're really happy you spent an hour playing it, and other times you really wish you could have done yard work or something. You rather do that. So
yeah. Well, it's Tarkov. At least it's only 45 minutes, but Squad, that's a 2 hour. You know.
yeah,
You just take one guy who goes off the rails, like, oh god, all right, well that's it.
Yeah, you can definitely get invested. Yeah.
Yeah, and that eye in the sky concept. I just wish there was an admin camera in Tarkov, because like the Sigma, what she's done with Invasion, that would be great to see, and like how Squad, you can see all the players and just see how the a fight happens, like because in Tarkov you could have a 20 or 30 minute one-on-one encounter around a certain map, and it's just there's that dynamic to it, which would be nice to see outside of just that first person view.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, because I know like War Thunder has a replay system. So yeah, if there was like a replay system, I think Squad's working on it too, a replay system even that you could go back and kind of analyze it and stuff like that. Or you could even take people's replays and then cast it like it's new because you've never seen it.
Right.
Like that would be super cool if there was replays. Yeah.
That is cool. Now, how would you describe? Oh, let's see. We got two communities. We got the MoiDawg community, and then we also got the Squad community. How would you describe the Squad community? Is it friendly? It's how would you put it?
Squad in terms of like the game, the gamers that play Squad.
Yeah, like the the Reddit people on Twitter. How's the community in general?
I think in general, the people who play Squad are leaning more towards those who are actually in the military, or who have always been interested in it. And the vast majority of people, I would guess probably 99% are going to be guys. Every once in a while, you'll see a couple girls. Not that that's a bad thing, just how it happens. And the vast majority of people are in like 3 different camps. So you got the super hardcore milsim people who want to just go tactical or whatever. I think that's a smaller group. But then you have those who I guess are just the average Squad players. They just want to communicate, have fun. And they're usually pretty chill. And then you got some memesters who will go in and just start voice spamming, spamming, all that type of stuff, because Squad is very easy to spam. But overall, the community, I think, is a very open, very welcoming community. It's a place where if you ask questions, people will be more than happy to tell you the answer, because if you screw something up, then you hurt your team. And you don't want that to happen. But they will also be very quick to flame you if you don't ask questions and ruin something. But in terms of Reddit, Twitter, other streamers and YouTubes that I've seen, I mean, you have the YouTube cinematic version of Squad. I think a lot of people don't like the way that maybe I present Squad with a super fob, or how Karma might do a super fob video. But I do think a lot of other people will appreciate things like Eye in the Sky, where it's just, hey, this is just a Squad game. This is what it is. But overall, it is one of the friendliest open communities that I've ever been a part of. And I really think the fact that you have dedicated server browsers, you have your community that you always go back to. Squad is a very small community when it comes down to it. So it feels good.
I've watched some streams and some videos where you got some ultra hardcore, like you said, the middle, like, all right, he's just taking it to a whole nother level.
Though I will say, every once in a while, if I get someone who I'm playing with and they just go full on like, I'm an actual sergeant type thing, you're like, all right, let's see where this goes, But it's you got some. I mean, Squad is unfortunately one of those games where there is a command structure, and I think that's a great thing. But what can tend to happen is that command structure goes to your head. If you're the type of person to maybe really embellish that, so you have some times where it's like, I'm the commander and I'm gonna tell you, like, dude, I've had someone like, it was kind of the same thing. You've had a long day. We had some, maybe like he was probably like 18, 19 or something. Tell Squad 2 to go do something. He's like, dude, I've just been at work for 8 hours. Just put my kids down. I'm going to go build this 5, or you can shut the hell up. That type of stuff. So it's just kind of like, dude, you have that. I think for the most part, though, it's pretty good.
Oh, cool. And now what about like a cheater aspect of it? Is there a high cheater, or a good anti-cheat in the Squad?
Not really. I mean, there's easy anti-cheat, which can work, you know, for basic stuff. But every once in a while, you get people who can not really teleporting, but you have like super weapons, you know, grenades that can a full auto
Oh
shoot
shoot.
tandem rounds
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Um, every once in a while it happens. We also have the squad community, or there used to be called the squad community ban list, which because you're a group of dedicated server owners, if you have problem players, you would report them. If you
Yeah.
get banned on however many servers, then you're actually now banned from every server that supports the
Yeah.
ban list. And then cheaters would be reported to OWI, and you just ban them.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I guess the squad is like $50. So if you get banned, it's, you know, it's not the cheapest thing to
Right.
try to
Yeah.
redo it. You know, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, that's cool to know. And now, what about the MoiDawg community? You know, I've a lot of the other content creators have been on. They talk. You know, their community is like, you know, lifelong friends. People who've been in them in their weddings and things like that. How would you describe
Oh,
your community?
yeah, it's my community is kind of like the squad community in a sense, very supportive. You know, I try not to, like I said, everyone gets tilted, everyone rages, but I try not, I try to just be chill.
Yeah.
You know, very neutral when it comes to. I've had people from um uh like Iran to like Georgia to local U.S. Georgia
Yeah.
to, you know, all over the world, South Africa, Egypt, everywhere that you could potentially have one person have an issue with another person. And I like to think that we can just all chill and enjoy video games. You know, we have a very helpful Discord community. I mean, the one big thing is that, you know, I'm actually a very private person off stream. And
Yeah.
so when it comes to, you know, hopefully when now as things are opening up again, we can go to conventions and I can meet people more in person and stuff like that. But I mean, I've been gaming with people for now like almost 4 years.
Yeah.
And so some of these people, I consider them friends
Yeah.
and, you know, they consider me friends. And, you know, some people, you know, if I don't see them show up for a week or two, I'm like, I try to check in. It's like, you
Yeah.
okay? Is everything okay? Yeah, cool. You know? So it's weird because especially I think over the past year or two, you've seen YouTube videos and people talk about like parasocial relationships and, you
Yeah.
know, are you really friends with people and stuff like that. And so trying to both have a community that is very real and try not to fake it and just get people like you don't want to get people in just to, you know, go analytics, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
So Discord I think has been awesome. People in chat, I love it.
Yeah.
It feels like a real helpful, nice
Yeah.
community.
Oh, cool. All right. So now you're signing off. What happens after? You're raising some kids, hanging with the wife. What are your things you're doing? What are things you enjoy to do?
Um, I I typically I don't like talking when after I stream.
Yeah.
I my wife wants to talk to me. I don't. I go to the couch, I lay down, close my eyes, do nothing, just kind of reset.
Yeah.
So I I would just probably grab a soda, grab a drink, grab something.
Yeah.
I now have a couch in my studio here, so I can just go over here, close,
Yeah.
you know, kind of shut down, and then just enjoy silence.
Yeah.
And because yeah, within the next hour, I got kids, and then it's nonstop kids for
Yep.
hours. Yeah.
No, but you bring up that's actually a good point. Like, you know, people who don't know what you do and what's involved with streaming and content creation, like you're talking, like you said, 4 to 6 hours, and now, okay, I'm done. It's like, oh, all right. But, you know, you go, your IRL friends have no idea what you've just, you know, the struggles and things
Yeah.
like that you have to deal with.
Yeah, I really don't mean to come off as rude. I talk so much,
Yeah.
and I talk with people all the time. I talk about their day. I talk about what I'm doing. Talk about what
Yeah.
we're doing. So when I'm not streaming, I probably seem like the most antisocial, introverted person. I think I am a little introverted, despite me being you know, on camera all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't I do not engage. You know, it's my time. It's like if I can not talk, that would be great.
Yeah.
You know, give me a break. Let me shut my brain off. No small talk. Just give me a break. Dude.
Yeah. Very cool. And now here you are. You streamed today. You had your quiet time, and now you're talking more on a
Yeah. See, there
podcast.
you go. I had to get, you know, re-energized
Yeah.
a little bit. You know?
Awesome. Any plans, any goals that you want to hit this year?
100K YouTube subs.
That's
Hopefully
right.
in the
We're
next
on
few
the edge
days.
of that.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, my goal was to hit it before the year.
Yeah.
And then I pushed the goal up to hit it before TwitchCon. And so now it looks like I'm gonna hit it within the next week, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I will say, we were talking about YouTube stuff earlier. YouTube Shorts, brand new.
Yes.
People, it's like TikTok for YouTube. Do YouTube Shorts. Only if they line up with your own actual content.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a lot of like the Eye in the Sky YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
And I think short form content, especially nowadays, is the way to go.
Yeah.
It's and never close your door, because I don't think I would be able to hit it before, like, so early after before TwitchCon if it wasn't for, you know, exploring the kind of shorts type stuff.
Yeah.
So it feels like fake content because it's 30 seconds, but if you can make 30 seconds entertaining, yeah, it's pretty good.
It's crazy how, and you know, just trying to figure it out. Why one video hits for this and the other one doesn't, but it just takes one video and there's, you know, there's 100 subscribers. Just, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my big one, is to get 100K YouTube subs. And when you realize that doesn't necessarily mean videos, like the big videos that you think of, yeah, just if there's one thing I've learned this year is never close a door when it comes to content creation.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. So you survived the podcast, you've survived Tarducks, but before you go, you got to call out somebody in your community and your peers that you think have a great story and should come on to pod.
Okay. Yeah, come on. Okay. So let's see. I'm trying to think. Because you already talked to Geeks, right?
Yeah. Yes, I have Geeks. Yeah.
Okay, you did talk to Geeks. Okay. Oh man, because that would have been Honcho. Do you know Honcho?
No, who's Honcho?
Honcho. So he actually just recently got accepted, his A_Honcho. He recently got accepted to the squad partner program.
Yeah.
He's been he used to do a lot of War Thunder. He's always been into squad. He's from the UK. And he's up and coming in the community for squad. And you know, he's another one. We had kids about the same time. He has I think now about 2-year-old.
Yeah.
He's still working full time while also streaming and growing and doing a hell of a job. So yeah, Honcho.
All right, there you go. I'm coming for you, Honcho. All right. Well, MoiDawg, thank you so much for doing this. This has been fantastic, and you know, I'm going to have to go play squad now.
Yeah, do it. Do it. Yeah, say goodbye for the rest hour.